We must do something. And that is exactly what we are going to do.
In the wake of the mass shooting that left 9 people dead in Dayton this weekend, Ohio Governor Mike DeWine announced new proposals addressing mental health and gun control. Among the proposals, Governor DeWine is urging the GOP-led state legislature to pass required background checks for nearly all gun sales. He also wants to allow the courts to restrict firearms for people perceived as threats. And he's pushing to increase access to mental health care through investment in telehealth services, among other things. Joining me now, 2 members of the state legislature, Democratic Senator Cecil Thomas of Cincinnati and Republican Representative John Becker of Union Township. I want to thank you gentlemen for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So I'm going to take you back to the vigil in Dayton from Sunday, and there were chants from people who were there basically saying, do something, do something, do something. Does that put pressure on you as lawmakers to get something done?
Well, you know, I go back, it struck a dagger in my heart simply because of the mere fact that I've introduced a number of pieces of legislation, including universal background checks and what is the law? The flag, red flag. Yeah, things of that nature we focused on, and each time they die. Those bills die. So it hurt to see this happen, knowing that we could have introduced these things and got those through a long time ago.
So, Representative, is there a will to do something now?
Well, there always is. I mean, there's never not been a will. So, you know, when you have this public outcry about do something, well, that's understandable. There's obviously a lot of emotion. It's raw, and it's going to be for a long time. You know, what we don't want to do is a knee-jerk reaction to pass laws that just because they make us feel good. Well, we did something, so it makes us feel good about ourselves. But are they going to be productive or counterproductive? So that's why we hold hearings, and we're going to have testimony. And when these bills come to, when they're written and they get assigned to committees, they're going to go through the normal process, and we'll see what comes out of it.
If Governor Kasich's red flag gun laws had passed, would that have prevented this shooting?
You know, we don't know, but yet and still there are issues that were red flags with this individual. Clearly that showed up. More than likely, if the red flag law had been in place, I understand this individual had contacts with the police where they had to take him off the bus when he was in high school or something of that nature. We don't know, but yet and still, we have to make sure that we continue to do everything we can to try to minimize the potential of something like this happening.
Is it a mental health issue, or is it a gun issue, or is it both?
Well, it's clearly it's a mental health issue. You know, obviously guns are frequently the tool used, but not always. I mean, we've seen buildings blow up. We've seen airplanes go into buildings, and you know, there's a lot of ways to kill people. So, you know, a gun is just a tool used frequently by terrorists and bad guys. But obviously these people are nuts, you know, just to be blunt. So whatever mental health services can be used to help these people, reach out to stop them from them doing what they're about to do that are still out there. Or as Senator Thomas said, you know, could a red flag law have prevented this? I would love to know the answer to that. You know, what law could we have had in place to stop what happened in Dayton? I'd love to know the answer.
Okay. Do there need to be deeper background checks?
Well, absolutely. We need to have a comprehensive background check. That is critical in beginning to address this problem. But my biggest concern is the bill has, what he's introduced has a number of other attachments to it, and that is concerning to me when we're talking about increasing penalties for all of these other issues. That is, it would be best if we just had a clean bill.
Okay.
That way we can move it through. But this is going to really cause a huge snag in trying to get this legislation passed.
We have about 30 seconds left. What would you like to tell your constituents? This is your opportunity to speak with them directly. Constituents who might have voiced their opinion on this.
Well, sure. Well, to my constituents, you know, we do care, and we do want to do something about this. You know, whether it's, you know, when I saw the 17-point plan coming from the governor, I saw a lot of things in there I got no problem with. It sounds like the senator does have a problem with some of that, increasing penalties for a lot of these crimes. I'm all in for that, and whatever we can do with the mental health issue that can help to prevent these problems in the past, I'm all ears. I want to hear all about it.
Increasing penalties has never been a deterrent. The young man could care less that pulled the trigger in Dayton. He could care less about the penalties related to what he did.
That's
What we
true.
want to focus on is a holistic approach. We got to be very careful with our mental health process. That's very touchy ground. We can do it, but we got to be very focused on allowing the psychiatrists and everybody else to have input on how we do that.
Well, we will watch as Democrats and Republicans work together on what has been historically a very, very difficult issue.
And I'm happy to work with Senator Thomas. And
Absolutely.
I think there's a lot of common ground we have, and we'll look forward to working together to solve these problems.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for being here and giving us your time this evening.
Thanks for inviting us.